It's the semifinalist himself, Neiman Gracie. Hi, Neiman.
Hi, good to be here with you guys.
Yeah, man. How are you feeling?
Feeling great, man. Feeling great. Can't wait.
You were, I think candidly, I think it's fair to say you were like the big underdog in this tournament.
Yeah.
Maybe Ed Ruth was kind of, because he was a bit newer in his career.
Yeah.
But here you are in the semifinals. I know you're not surprised by it, but do you feel already validated by some of the experience you've had already?
Yeah, I think so, especially because some guys were saying that Ed Ruth was like the dark horse, So, yeah, I feel validated, and I knew what I'm capable of, so it's just about show everyone else,
What were you expecting out of Ed Ruth?
Exactly what happened, like a tough fight, There was a tough fight. I wasn't expecting him to try to take me down. I thought he was going to use his wrestling to keep the fight standing, but as soon as we clinched, he took me down and he went to my guard, and I was like, whoa, thank you, And then it became a very good grappling fight. I think that fight was one of the best grappling fights in a long time,
Certainly was. Tell me about him physically. What was his base like?
Super tough, man. There was positions that I got him for a sweep that I thought that I had the sweep and he bounced in and come back. I was like, damn. Some arm bars there. I was about to roll him and I roll him, he bounced and come back. I was like, man, this guy is good, I didn't feel him very strong. I felt him very good base.
Yeah, but good balance.
And great balance, yeah.
Yeah, but then in the end, you got, let's see, he tried to roll you. You had mount.
Yeah.
And you'd walked his arm up real far, and he tried to roll, and then you took his back, and then from there you worked the choke.
Yeah.
So in the end, it was just your technical superiority, I suppose, in jiu-jitsu?
I think that was the first time in the fight that I was able to get on top, and that made the difference. Because the whole fight, he was on top of me, on my guard, and I was attacking a lot from the guard, and I was almost finishing him with a couple arm bars and other moves, but as soon as I got on top of him, I know pretty well how to put the weight on the guy, Some guys that train with me, they say I feel much heavier when I'm on top. So
on mount or
on mount, half guard,
okay.
And it's a great position that I like, that I use a lot. And once I get the back, that's my favorite position. So
how much has your jiu-jitsu changed for MMA?
It changes a lot, man. It's crazy, because regular jiu-jitsu, I think your jiu-jitsu gets down to 15% of everything that you know. For 100% of jiu-jitsu that you have, you can only use 15 or 20% of the jiu-jitsu, because a lot of positions you can get hit with, with punches and everything else. So there is a lot of things that you cannot use. And but since I was a kid, I always learned jiu-jitsu for fighting, The jiu-jitsu that I learned wasn't for competitions. So it's a jiu-jitsu for fighting. So I think it's different.
People always talk about, it's without the gi. Okay, yeah. Yes, it is without the gi. But the other part is, I'm trying to figure out how to make this argument. If you watch jiu-jitsu for MMA, you can, when you watch Demi and Maya.
Yeah.
If I watch Demi and Maya, even in no gi, he would have a series of sophisticated leg entanglements and blah, blah, blah. Most of that goes away. I'm not calling it blue belt as in unsophisticated.
Yeah.
I'm calling it blue belt as in closer to fundamental jiu-jitsu. It's bluish, purplish, just really refined.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that a fair characterization?
Yeah. I think what works in a fight is the fundamentals, So all those crazy moves that people see, people flying around and going for crazy leg locks, all of these go out of the window, And what really sticks is the fundamentals. So, and that's what I learned since the beginning, So fundamentals, it's really, really important for fighting.
Are you the best grappler in this tournament?
Definitely, yeah.
How good is Douglas Lima?
Really good too. He's a very complete fighter, but I think he's more of a striker, But his jiu-jitsu is very good defensive. He has a very good guard. He has a very good butterfly guard too. So his jiu-jitsu is kind of like Rory's jiu-jitsu, I think.
It's more designed for MMA?
Definitely, yeah.
All right, let's talk about Rory MacDonald. So that's the one you're going to face. First of all, a title shot already.
Yeah.
How does that? That's kind of weird, right? You're not even 10 fights. You're what, 9? This will be your 10th fight, 10th pro fight. I'm sure you've had many more in different circumstances, but 10th pro fight already in the title shot.
Yeah, but it's not something crazy for me. I was expecting already, I have 7 fights in Bellator and I have 7 wins and 6 submissions. So it was about time, yeah, man. And I can't wait to test myself, and I can't wait to try to be a world champion,
So Rory fought John Fitch.
Yeah.
Give me your impressions.
The fight, there was a war between two great fighters, you know. And I was telling people before the fight that John Fitch was going to bring it to him, and people were like counting him out. No, I think Rory's gonna finish him and standing up, and it's gonna be easy. I said, man, I don't think it's gonna be easy. I don't think anyone that fights John Fitch is gonna have an easy fight, you know. If you see, I think he only lost for guys that are champions or fighting for a championship. So he's a very tough guy. He was able to get the strikes that Rory throws on him. He was able to eat them and get him down. I think it was a very tough fight, and I think John Fitch won, you know?
You do?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What did you see out of Rory? Because you heard we'll talk about his post-fight comments in a minute. People have said, oh, it's the same guy who was in the UFC. I'm not sure I buy that. I think there's a step that's a little bit off. Do you agree?
No, I think he's the same guy.
Same guy?
I think he's tough, man, you know? I saw him trying to kill John Fitch, you know? So, yeah, I think he's still one of the best welterweights in the world, I think. Maybe
For sure, that's true.
Maybe top 2 or top 3, I think so. And it's going to be a tough fight, man.
All right, let's talk about his post-fight comments.
Yeah.
So they put a microphone in his face. Here's the thing that, you know this.
Yeah.
Right after a fight, are you thinking clearly?
No. It's very hard, especially after a 5 rounds war, you know, so.
Like, forgive folks help folks understand, like after the Ruth fight, because that didn't go the same length, but that was a crazy battle.
And I went crazy after that fight. If you see that fight, I'm screaming, where's my belt? Like going crazy, and I'm never like that. I'm usually a very calm guy, and I was going crazy. And after that, I said, what the hell is going on there, you know? Sometimes you let the emotions take part of you, especially after the fight is over. All the emotions comes out because us as a fighters, we try to hold the emotions, we try to hide them during and before the fight, you know. We don't want to like be too emotional during a fight and before the fight. So we always try to keep the emotions in. And after the fight is over, we put everything out, and it's crazy, you know. So I think that's what happened to him. He just put it out what he was feeling, you know. And
so what about that though? Because if the idea was, to your point, that he was feeling these things but concealing them, he was still feeling them.
Yeah.
So what do you make of the fact that he was feeling like, you know, you have to have his words where you have to have a certain spirit to hurt another man?
Yeah. I think he tried to hurt John Fitch pretty bad, you know. But I respect that. I respect what he's feeling, you know. We fight in a cage in front of millions of people, the whole world watching. If you think about it, it's kind of a crazy thing, right? To lock yourself with someone else inside a cage. And,
not my job.
You know? So if you stop to think about it, it is a crazy thing to do, and I respect him he'd been in a lot of wars, so I respect if he doesn't want to do that anymore, you know? It's up to him. Everybody has a certain time in this sport, and if he feels that he doesn't have it anymore, it's okay. But from seeing the fight, I was there live.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think he tried to kill John Fitch. He just wasn't able to, and he put it out what he was feeling, you know. But I think when we fight, it's going to be a tough fight, you know. I'm ready to die when I step in there, and I think he's going to be ready to die too, you know.
You think he is?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
I
mean, I believe you, and maybe you're right. When I say I don't know, I really mean that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just you don't hear fighters say that publicly very often, do you?
Yeah, no. Usually, like, fighters tend to keep that into them, you know. Especially like sometimes they're scared and they never say it, you know, because they don't want other people to know. And I think he just let it out, and it's fine. You know, it's nothing crazy. I don't think it's nothing crazy. You know.
Have fighters that you know ever in the training room ever like told you they were scared?
Many times. Yeah. It's kind of hard, but sometimes you start talking to them and they open up. Sometimes veterans of the sport, you know, they say, "Man, I was so scared before this fight in the locker room." You know, it's normal, man. Sometimes you're gonna be scared, but like I heard one time before, the courage is not the absence of fear, you know. It's having fear, but knowing how to control it and doing what you have to do with that fear, you know. So everybody gets scared, but it's the difference, you being scared and doing the thing, or you letting the fear stop you from doing it, you know. That's the difference between a a courage guy and a coward, I think.
What about the idea of less so fear, but this desire to keep competing? Has a fighter ever come to you and been like, I don't know if I can do this anymore?
Not many, but I'm pretty sure there are a lot of guys think about it, but they don't say it too much,
Yeah.
you know. We tend to keep a lot of things to ourselves,
Right,
you
right.
know. And sometimes when we let it out, like people started judging you, you know.
Yeah. So you're of the impression that he's going to be the Rory MacDonald that you have been watching all these years.
Yeah, man, I'm ready. I'm waiting for the best Rory MacDonald ever, you know. So I'm training so hard, so I'm ready for a war, man.
Let's talk about his game. What do you when you look at what Rory MacDonald's good at?
Yeah.
What is he good at?
I think his best thing is his striking, you know. He's very aligned with his striking. He doesn't overcommit on things, you know. I think his striking is his best weapon, but he's also very good all around, you know. He has a good jiu-jitsu, he has a good wrestling, but I think his biggest weapon is his striking and his hands, you know.
What about his ground game?
It's very good too. He has a good ground game, especially because my school and his school were kind of connected, you know. My teacher...
Right, because Faraz
Yeah.
is Danaher's student.
He's Danaher's
right?
student. So my teacher, Danaher, is also teacher of them, and he's been on Rory's corner, so he comes from a good lineage, you know.
So how's that going to work for this fight? Like, obviously Rory's going to train with Faraz.
Yeah.
But what does John Danaher do here?
I'm gonna keep training with John like I always do, you know. Yeah, and I think it's fine. We talk already. Like John not gonna be in my corner for this fight, but I'm gonna keep on training on his classes and with his students, you know. It's all good. Like I never trained with Rory before. He been to my school before, but we never trained together. I think it's fine, just business, you know. We're gonna go there, fight, and after that we're cool. If he wants to come back and train at the gym, it's fine.
You've never had an opponent that was super bitter at you, super angry, right?
No, I think only like two guys. I fought a Mexican guy in Bellator. In
Javier Torres?
yeah, he was kind of a dick, you know. And but that I felt good. That made me more, gave me more power to try to finish him, you know.
Yeah. Do you like that kind of thing about MMA?
I don't dislike, but it's not something that I do. I'm usually a very calm guy, you know. And like I said before, I think about it as a business, you know. In the end of the day, I just want to go in there and compete and win. So I don't hate the guy. I don't want to kill the guy, you know. It's just like I want to be better than him. I want to finish him, but it's not like I want to kill him, you know.
But when you look around MMA and you see so many people getting attention from it,
Yeah.
what do you make of that?
I think it's fake. Most of the time it's very fake, you know, like people try to hype a fight.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you see these people in person. Like I know Colby. I mean, here, I'll say this: whatever your opinion is about Colby and what he does,
Yeah.
if you interact with him in person,
Yeah.
he's a normal person.
I
It's
don't
a,
like
it's a
that.
weird thing.
Yeah, I don't like that, you know. And when people try to fight him out of the cage, he pulls the phone. Hey, you're trying to hit me? Like, where I come from, like I come from old school in Brazil, man. If you talk something bad about someone's mom or anything, they go all the way in your house and they're gonna wait you downstairs under your house to fight you, you know. It's different. In Brazil, if you do such a thing like that, expect when you come in off your house, the guy will be right there to fight you. So that gets respect, you know. Like people don't do those things.
What's the phrase in Portuguese? Like something about like a dentist?
Yeah, they say respect is good because it keeps your teeth in place.
What's the Portuguese for it?
Respeito é bom porque mantém os dentes no lugar, you know.
That just sounds so much better in Portuguese.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
That's what Vanderlei said to Sonia, I think.
Yeah. That's a well-known thing.
It is definitely, you know.
Is that really a better way though to be violent towards one another?
Like what do you mean?
Like what's the best kind of society? Is it one where through insult we solve problems through violence, or just to ignore people?
A
little bit of both,
I don't
maybe?
think I don't think violence is the best thing, especially against people that are not fighters, you know, they don't know what they're doing. So yeah, I never had like a street fights. I never, being different from all the other guys from my family that had a lot of stories, I never had much, you know, never fought much in the street.
Yeah.
My thing is more, like I said before, as a sport, you know, so I'm not a violent guy, so I think that's better.
Let's talk about John Danaher for a second.
Yeah.
So 2 things. We had Gordon Ryan here.
Oh, nice.
So I bought his instructional on guard passing.
Really good.
Wow.
Hey, buy his instructional.
Yeah.
You're not gonna. I'm telling you, man, it's really good.
It was
By Jones and by Gardens.
Okay, so that was the other part. And then I bought. So John has a bunch of instructionals, but I bought the attacks from the back.
Yeah.
And I'm not finished with it yet.
Yeah.
There's a level to sophistication on that that I don't think most people are aware of. And it's a system, right? Now, you didn't come up through John, you just train with John now?
No, I've been training with John for a long time already.
Did you come up through black belt?
No. I came up through Renzo and my father.
Okay.
And also from Gracie Barra, from Carlos Gracie Jr.
Okay.
So my story is I stayed in Brazil until I was 18 years old, until I was like a purple belt, training in Gracie Barra, the main school in Brazil. Then when I was 18, I moved here to New York, and I started training with Renzo since I was like a purple belt. But my father has a school 1 hour from here. So I train with my father and I train with Renzo. I trained with my father since day one. We used to train at the house and he showed me moves. But then I fine-tuned here with Renzo. And during that time training with Renzo, since I was like a purple belt, I was already training with John. So I train with a lot of people and I try to get a little bit of everybody, you know?
There are many very good competitors. I don't know how many competitors in schools think about establishing systems and order
that's
in the
hard.
way that John does.
That's a John thing, I think, you know?
How much did that change your game?
That make you improve so much faster, you know? Because you have like things that you're gonna do, and he knows the results, and he knows that the results is gonna be better, you know. In the old days, that's how it used to be with the Gracie School in Brazil, with Carlos and Helio Gracie, you know. They had a whole system. Like when you get into the school, you had to do like 30 classes of only self-defense, and you learn all the self-defense moves, and you learn the hip escapes, and you learn the rolls, and you learn how to fall, and, you know. So people used to get in the school and they wanted to roll back in the day, and they say, no. You gotta do those 30 classes. When you finish with these 30 classes, then we're gonna go to something else. So that's a Helio Gracie thing, you know. He was very strict. So they had the system already, and everybody can see that it worked. Right. So. And now John is doing kind of the same thing. He has his system, you know, and it works, man.
It really does. The Gordon Ryan guard passing, I couldn't believe.
Crazy.
So how much do you train with like those guys? Like I know Jake Shields is there too.
Yeah, I train these guys every day.
Yeah.
You know, all my no-gi training I do at John's class, so I just trained with them this morning.
How was it?
Yeah.
Well, Gordon's injured, right?
Yeah, Gordon, but he still goes there and he watches the moves. He's just a maniac, you know. But Jake is training a lot. I train a lot with Jake. It's always a tough round. He's a monster. Gary's been training a lot too, you know, and it's a bunch of other guys too. So
you train with Nicky?
Yeah, I hate training with that kid, man.
Everybody says the same thing.
Yeah, and I'm training and I look for someone else. And he's like, hey, you wanna go? I said, yeah, Nicky, I wanna go.
Yeah.
And you know, it sucks. He's super tough. And he's that guy that when new people go to the school from another gym, they always pair them with Nicky, you know, like. And
then he just runs over them?
Kill them.
So he's going up against Uriah Faber.
It's going to be great, yeah.
Do you think Uriah stands a chance?
Uriah is a very tough guy, but I think the sport has changed, so it's going to be tough for Uriah, I think. But Nicky is only what? It's 18, 17, so.
Yeah. So he's still purple, right?
I don't even know. He should be black belt, I think.
I think so as well. I want to talk about being a Gracie, man.
Yeah.
Like, what is it like? On the one hand, being a Gracie, it must be great.
Yeah.
On another hand, man, I'll be honest, it sounds like it's a burden.
Yeah, there is two flips of a coin, you know? Like, back in school, I had to get in a couple fights because I was a Gracie, you know? And also, I didn't get in fights because I was a Gracie, because people respect, and there are people that just wanted to fight me, you know? So, and since I was competing in Jiu-jitsu, the same thing. So there is two flips of a coin, you know? Like, the good thing is that you get to learn from a lot of different great people, like different great masters. Like I have 20 uncles, and all of them know a lot of Jiu-jitsu. So you get to learn from a lot of good different people. And the bad thing is that you have a target on your back, you know. But since I started competing, since I was very young, I'm used to, so that doesn't bother me anymore, you know.
Are there like guys your age in the Gracie family who are like electricians, artists? Like, is everyone a
No,
jiu-jitsu black
yeah,
belt?
everybody's teaching jiu-jitsu. If they're not fighting, they teaching jiu-jitsu, yeah.
Wow. So you don't even have a choice.
You have. It's just that it's there on your face and everybody's talking about. So you start training, playing around,
Yeah.
and you like training, you keep training, then you get your black belt, and then, okay, what are you going to do about, you know what, my black belt? I'm going to teach jiu-jitsu, you know. So it's just there. It's so much easier for you to do that, you know.
You know what's great about the Gracies now is that you've got Crone over
Yeah.
in the UFC. Now you got you in Bellator.
Yeah.
There was a while there where there was Gracies have always been on the map and they're always visible. Obviously, a little bit. Well, Crone was doing sport jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And, had match with Gary. I'm sure you saw at ECC, one of the great ones. But now they're getting back into MMA. It's been a long time since the Gracies had a premier top talents in several organizations.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and we have other Gracies in Bellator too. Like we have my cousin Conry, Royce's son, and we have my cousin Hobson. He trains here with me. He's coming up too. So yeah, man, we're coming back, and we're coming back to take the gold. You know, so
it's the newer generation, right?
Yeah, it's the new one. Yeah.
What do you make about how Crone's doing? He only had the one fight, but
he's doing great, man. He only had one fight, and people trying to talk bad things. Oh, it's Alex Caceres. Alex Caceres is damn tough, man. Who had beat him that easy like that in the first round? Who did it?
From the back, like that was pretty amazing.
Not only from the back, but he fought with Uriah Faber, and he did like a 3 rounds off decision.
Yeah.
You know, so you gotta respect, man.
I'll say one thing about his stand-up that I noticed, and I'm nobody's coach, but he did have the old Hickson step.
And when he came in the punch, he went under and
You
clinched.
don't think that might get him into trouble a little bit later?
I don't think so.
No?
Let's see.
Yeah. That's not how you fight, though.
Yeah, I fight a little bit different, but I think his style is really good too, you know. And also he goes there and he try to trade punches. He's not afraid too.
No, he doesn't move back.
Yeah, man.
He goes forward.
He keeps coming and coming, you know. So yeah.
When you've rolled with other Gracies, like
Yeah.
There are guys who are well known to the world, and then there are a bunch of Gracies who are moderately well known or whatever.
It's normal. So many people.
Who's the best Gracie you've ever rolled with?
Boy, that's hard.
Right?
Yeah, man. But I think it was Roger.
Yeah, Roger's pretty
He's a
good.
monster, you know, and he's huge. When he gets on top of you, you can only move your eyes.
It's paralyzing.
It sucks.
What about smaller ones? Because he's a bigger one. If it's not one, you can name a couple.
Yeah, I have like my cousins are really good too. Like Gregor is really good. Igor, Hollis is too big.
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah, like a bunch of people. Chiron, my cousin Chiron, Hobson, Q1. There's so many people, man.
There's a ton now.
Stuff.
Aren't there more Gracies also now on the sport jiu-jitsu scene as well? I feel like I've seen a few.
Oh yeah, it's Hiron.
Yes.
That kid is a monster, man.
Yes.
He's Hyan's son.
Oh, okay.
And
all right.
he's 17 years old, 220 pounds,
Whoa.
6'4". That kid's a monster,
Now,
man.
is he based out of Brazil still?
No, now he's living here with us.
Okay.
We bring him over, and then we're putting him to train really hard. And he's winning all the tournaments as a blue belt now, you know?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would imagine Hyan's son. would
Yeah,
be-
and he has that high spirit on him, so it's tough. He's going to be tough, man.
So when you compete in New York here,
Yeah.
obviously it's going to be a lot of your teammates. It's going to be a lot of your students. How does it work in the Gracie family when a Gracie competes? What's it like? Do all the Gracies reach out? Is it a giant celebration, or is it because the family's so big?
Yeah, it's
a little
very
bit-
big, but usually, yes, especially when we're doing good, like some guys that I don't see for a long time from the family send me messages, like, hey man, good job, let's keep going, let's get another one for the family. So it's a big support, everybody's supporting. So it's
Do
good.
people ever send you messages like, oh, you gotta uphold the Gracie name?
No, they don't put that big of a pressure, but like I receive messages like technical messages like you should have done this
Oh,
next
really?
time. Yeah, usually Hickson do that for me a lot. Like I finish a fight and I call him, hey, what did you think about this fight? And he tells me, and he's pretty straightforward, like, hey, you should have done this and that. You lost this position, you cannot do it. I usually call Hickson and ask him, and also Hansel every time. Hansel, he pulls me right after the fight in the backstage and starts showing me moves. There was one fight that he got the guy that I just fought, He bring the guy to the locker room.
No way.
And he put us to roll and asked me to do the things that I couldn't have done to do it again. That was crazy.
And the guy had no problem with it?
The guy, he loved it. Yeah, that was, what's his name? The Leprechaun, I forgot his name. Roger Carroll.
Oh, Roger Carroll,
Yeah, so he's also a jiu-jitsu guy. So after the fight, we roll in the backstage and we try to do the things that we couldn't do in the fight, you know? And I was looking at Hans, like, Hans, I'm kind of tired, you know? I wanna go home. No, do this, do that. So we do a couple more rounds in the backstage, you know?
Now, this is going to be a welterweight fight, obviously, because it's the welterweight tournament. We were talking about this a bit off camera.
Yeah.
You're a fairly, well, I wouldn't call you a huge welterweight, but you're not a small welterweight by any stretch of the imagination. How hard is that cut?
It sucks, man, you know? Like, it sucks, but it's normal. I'm against these big weight cuts in MMA, even though I'll do it, you know? But I have to do it because everyone else is doing it. But I think we should change that. I think we should put the weight divisions, the weigh-ins on the same day of the fight, you know? So people stop doing this crazy, because it's so dumb if you think about it. Everybody's kind of the same size and the same weight. And then we cut 30 pounds, we kill ourselves and we make weight, and then we go back up a little bit. So we are the same size anyways. So why the hell are we killing each other before a fight to make weight, you know? I'm fighting guys the same size as me, so that's so dumb.
Do you have professional help with your weight cut?
Yeah, I have a guy, his name is Daniel Dazan, you know, he helps me a lot. And he's been helping me in my last 3 or 4 fights, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you get down what? What are you right now?
Like 195, 190.
Bro, I know lightweight's that big.
Yeah,
We were talking about Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
He walks around 190.
Yeah, but he's not that big as his height,
Yeah,
you know?
he's shorter. Yeah, that's right.
So usually the guys that I'm fighting are the same size as me, everything's the same. So it's just dumb, you know?
All right, so who's going to be in your corner for this fight? Henzo?
Of course.
Yep.
If he's not coming, I'm not fighting, you know? I told him that already.
Fair enough.
Know? So Hansel's going to be there, my coach, Jamie Crowder. Maybe my father will be there, like he's in every fight that I am. Maybe one of my cousins, maybe my boxing coach, Angel. I don't know yet, you know, but usually Hansel got to be there, yeah.
What is, like when you think professionally about your goals, obviously you want to be the champion, right? And then maintain it, win the tournament. Okay, it's a given. Making a lot of money matters to you? And here's why I asked that. It's prize fighting, but you'd be surprised how many prize fighters tell me like, yes, of course, but
So when I start fighting, my first purse was like ridiculous, you know. I didn't make any money. And some people in my family were saying, man, you can't do this. You don't get this fight. You cannot fight for this money, you know. Don't do it. Like, I said, man, look, I'm not doing this for the money, you know. If they didn't give me any money, I would be fighting for free, but don't tell them, you know. So it's not about the money, but now it is about the money because
belt around your waist.
Yeah, man. Changes. So I kind of stopped teaching. I kind of stopped teaching privates. I stopped teaching classes a little bit. I'm just training. And I want to give a better life for my daughter and for my wife, you know. So, yeah, I want to make money too, you know.
How old's your daughter?
She's 1 year old.
Wow,
just turned 1.
My wife gave birth last Saturday.
Oh, yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah.
That's the real work right there.
The first month, I'm told, is not that awesome.
Yeah, but it's not that bad too. We wait for them to start walking around and crawling around the house.
That's when it gets real?
Ooh, it's crazy. You're going everywhere to pick her up.
Yeah, people told me like changing diapers. It's not that big a deal.
No, it's not that bad.
I mean, it's not awesome, but it's not that big a deal.
The bad thing is when they wake up at night, you know, when you got to wake up and go there.
Yeah.
But my wife is awesome. She's the best. So she helps me with everything, you know. Yeah. Thank God I have her, so.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, I can't wait to see it. I'm going to be there.
All right.
This will be Bellator 221, Neiman Gracie. Last thing on this, I'll just say, man, if you win this whole tournament, like, dude, if you think about it, you'd have
I'm going to win, man.
Okay, if when. Let's do the path here. You'd have beaten Ed Ruth.
Yeah.
One of the literally, I don't know if you know this. He's literally maybe one of the top 10 wrestlers of all time in college.
I know, yeah. He's really good.
Then Rory MacDonald, the big signing from the UFC. Yeah. And then either Douglas Lima or MVP. Bro, that's a murderer's row. Yeah, your profile would explode with that.
It will explode. I knew what I was signing up for when I did it, so yeah, I can't wait, man.
Yeah, I said Bellator 221. It's Bellator 222.
Yeah.
This will be June 14th at Madison Square Garden, your second fight there. That's to be kind of fun, right?
That would be great, man. The 2 best places I've ever fought was there and in Hawaii. So I wish
Yeah.
I can only fight there. Only Madison Square in Hawaii.
By the way, that Hawaii card looked amazing. What was so fun about it as a competitor?
That was awesome, man. Like, just the atmosphere, everything was so good, you know. I felt at home, like I felt like I was in
I
Brazil.
was about to say, the Hawaiians and the Brazilians,
Very similar. It's crazy.
they're different, but same, you know?
And I've been going to Hawaii every year for a couple years now because I love surfing.
Yeah.
So I knew everybody there. Everybody are my friends there. So when I was walking around and looking, I knew all the faces. So I was at home, you know. And afterwards, I stayed there for a whole month surfing, and it was awesome, man.
So let's say you win this whole thing. Do you think you could convince Scott Coker to put a fight in Brazil?
Definitely, yeah. And we're gonna talk for sure. Put one in Brazil and in my neighborhood in Barra. It's gonna be awesome. That's where usually they have the other shows at HSBC Arena, you know.
Yeah, yeah, in Rio.
Yeah, in Rio, yeah. So definitely.
Well, you know what? It's been great to have you here in studio, man.
My pleasure, guys.
I really appreciate it. So Bellator 222, you'll be the main event, I'm sure, right? No. Is it you're the main event, or is it Chael versus?
I don't know yet. I think it's Chael and Machida, but someone was telling me that maybe they're gonna change. I don't know.
Title fight. Y'all should be in the main event.
But they're gonna have another title fight that you guys should also watch. Is the Hiroguchi against
Caldwell.
Against Caldwell.
Yes.
This time they fight in a cage, so it's gonna be also a good fight.
Real quickly, who do you like in that one?
Tough fight, but maybe Caldwell, I think, because it's a smaller round and they're gonna be in a cage. It's kind of different.
Also, he was before he got guillotined.
He was
doing
winning.
well.
He was winning. Yeah.
So
getting takedowns.
Yeah.